In this lesson, we will practice with MAC address table. We will focus on the two main activities in this practice. First of all, we will practice with finding entries in the MAC address table. Then we will look into managing the MAC address table. If we know the MAC address in advance, we can search for that specific MAC address. In the privilege mode, we issue the command show MAC address dash table dynamic address and then provide the MAC address that we want to find, then hit enter. Let's do it in Cisco Skills 1. Here we are at the privilege mode of Cisco Skill 1. We need to type in the command show MAC address dash table dynamic, then address, and then provide the MAC address that we want to find, then hit enter. Here we are, we can find the MAC address in the MAC address table of Cisco Skill Switch 1, and it's learned via the port is10. To list all MAC addresses learned via a specific interface, at the privilege mode, we need to issue the command show MAC address dash table dynamic interface, and we provide the name of the interface and hit enter. Let's do it in Cisco Skill Switch 1. We are at the privilege mode, so we need to issue the command show MAC address dash table dynamic interface and specify the name of the interface E01, then hit enter. Here's a list of all MAC addresses learned via the port E01 in switch 1. To find all MAC addresses in a specific VLAN, at the privilege mode, we issue the command show MAC address dash table dynamic VLAN and then specify the VLAN number, then hit enter. Let's do it in Cisco Skill Switch 1. We are at the privilege mode and we issue the command show MAC address dash table dynamic and then VLAN, and then VLAN number is number 1 and hit enter. And here's a list of all MAC addresses in VLAN 1. To find MAC address table aging time, at the privilege mode of a switch, we issue the command show MAC address dash table aging dash time, then hit enter. Now let's do it in Cisco Skill Switch 1. We are at the privilege mode, so we issue the command show MAC address dash table aging dash time, then hit enter. As you can see, the global aging time here is 300 seconds, which is the default aging time. To change MAC address table aging time in the configuration mode of a switch, we issue the command MAC address dash table aging dash time, then put in a question mark, then hit enter to see the list of options. As you can see, when you enter 0, it will disable aging time, which means all entries will stay in the MAC address table until a new entry overrides the oldest one. Or you can specify the aging time from 10 to 1 million seconds. Let's change MAC address table aging time in Cisco Skill Switch 1. We are in the privilege mode. Let's go to the configuration mode. Here we are in the configuration mode. Let's issue the command MAC address dash table aging dash time, then question mark. Here are the list of options. Let's change the aging time in Cisco Skill Switch 1 to 500 seconds. Then hit enter. Let's verify it. Show MAC address dash table aging dash time. As you can see, the aging time in Cisco Skill Switch 1 is now 500 seconds. To remove entries in the MAC address table, we have several options. The first option is clear MAC address dash table dynamic address, then specify the MAC address that we want to remove, then hit enter. It will remove that specific MAC address from the MAC address table. The next option is clear MAC address dash table dynamic interface, and then specify the name of the interface, then hit enter. It will remove all the MAC addresses learned via this interface. And the last option is clear MAC address dash table dynamic VLAN, and then specify the VLAN number, then hit enter. Let's now practice in Cisco Skill Switch 1. First, let's show the current MAC address table in Cisco Skill Switch 1. Show MAC address dash table dynamic, then hit enter. Here's the list of all MAC addresses in the MAC address table of Cisco Skill Switch 1. Let's remove the very first item. So clear MAC address table dynamic address, and then we copy the MAC address and then paste it there and hit enter. Let's now verify it. As you can see, this MAC address has been removed from the current MAC address table. Now let's practice with the next command, clear MAC address dash table dynamic interface, and then in this case we will specify the interface E11. Copy that interface and hit enter. Let's verify it. As you can see, this MAC address has been removed from the current MAC address table after we issue that command. Now let's remove all the MAC addresses from the VLAN 1. Let's do it. Clear MAC address dash table dynamic VLAN 1 and hit enter. Let's verify it. And you can see all the MAC addresses have been removed from the current MAC address table. As you know, you can add a MAC address in the MAC address table, and the type of the entry for that MAC address will become static. To do that, in the configuration mode, we issue the command MAC address dash table static, and then provide the MAC address, the VLAN, and the interface, then hit enter. Let's do it in Cisco Skill Switch 1. First, let's show the current MAC address table learned in Cisco Skill Switch 1. So show MAC address dash table dynamic, then hit enter. Here is the current MAC addresses in the MAC address table. Let's add this entry as the static entry in the MAC address table. Let's go to the configuration mode first and add the entry into the MAC address table as a static. So let's verify it. Show MAC address table. In this case, we make it static. And as you can see, this entry is now in the MAC address table with the type static.